Just getting hooked on. We are going to be heading out camping, and we are going to get a tow test. Not just a flatland tow test, an uphill tow test today. We haven't climbed very many big hills with this truck yet, hooked to the trailer, but today we got a good one. So we'll let you know how it does. Welcome back. We are finally heading out camping, and it's been a while. We decided to head over State Road 35, right, Kara?
Or known as
Wolf Creek Pass here in Utah. I know there's Wolf Creek Passes everywhere, so when I say Wolf Creek Pass, somebody's going to jump on and be like, that's not the right one, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but it's Highway 35 here in Utah, and it's a really good climb. And I thought it'd be a good chance for me to do a review of how this 2021 Chevy 3500 High Country Duramax diesel pulls our 11 to 12,000 pound fifth wheel up over this hill. We have towed over the hill with our Ram that we had previously and with our Power Stroke, so it'll be interesting to see how it does in comparison. The speed limit's going to be about 45 to 50 up over it. It's going to have 6, 7, 8% grades, I think. Lots of twists and turns, and it's one of those where you just get up to speed and then you have to let off even though you're going uphill to get around the corners, and then you have to accelerate again. So it really works the transmission, it works the whole truck. It's not like towing up over Parleys where you're at 65 and you can use that momentum to just keep you going. And then we drop off the other side down towards the city of Hanna, Utah, and it's a pretty good drop. So it'll test the exhaust brake to see how it really does holding back. Now, we've towed over some hills or mountains with the truck already, but nothing this aggressive, I don't think, that I remember at least. So, and with not towing over anything this aggressive, we haven't been able to get a full experience of what it's like to tow with the truck. Just saw the sign. It's going to be a 25-mile tow up to the top and then back down the other side. And we're just starting to climb up the canyon here. Right now, engine temperature is what it's always at 210, and transmission temperature is about 170. As we start the climb here, it's just lots of twists and turns. I do like how the truck supports the weight on these corners. You don't feel the trailer pulling you or pushing you in any way, which is really nice. Very similar to how our F350 controlled the weight of the trailer. You can tell the difference when you get into a single rear wheel 3500 as compared to our 2500, the Ram that we had before. Just with that little bit of extra push from the trailer, you know, maintaining that weight a little bit better. It is a beautiful drive though.
So at work today, I'm just kind of chatting with the guys, you know, what weekend plans we're having, where we're going, you know, details. And I mentioned Hanna, and one of them's like, oh yeah, I know where that's at. The other one's like, oh, where's that, you know? So jumped on the map, and he's like, well, why don't you go this way? I'm like, well, we like this route because of the scenery. It's beautiful.
Yeah, just great big pine trees and
I mean, his first comment was like, well, doesn't that have a great big toe? I'm like, yeah, but we can handle it. We can do it. So that's why we choose to go this way.
It's one of those confidence things with the new diesel engines. Well, diesel engines in general,
yeah,
you just can do it. It doesn't matter if it's Cummins, Power Stroke, Duramax, whatever. I mean, I know people like to argue about that stuff, but they all work so well. And I'm climbing up. The speed limit right now is 40, and I have to keep on letting off the throttle because I could just keep accelerating. There's so much horsepower and torque with these new trucks. I have had people asking about if I just lock the transmission into a certain gear, those sort of things. And I haven't ever really had to do that on any of our trucks since our F-150. For me, I only think I need to lock the transmission or manually shift it if it's searching and can't find the gear, and it's just that back and forth, back and forth, back and forth thing going on, and I'm not having that. I feel the truck, it'll shift into a gear, and it keeps pulling hard, doing its thing, until it reaches the RPM that it needs to upshift or downshift, and then it does it, and pretty flawless without a big jerk or anything. This new 10-speed transmission is awesome. Right now it's a 7% grade. I'm pulling about 2,500 RPM, and my foot's maybe half throttle. Speed limit just jumped up to 50, so that's nice. But engine's not revving too high, not working too much. It's always nice when you find that kind of sweet spot and it just pulls hard. Every diesel truck has it at a different RPM, it seems like. I think with our Ram it was at a lower RPM, and our Ford and Chev have been about any 2,200 to 2,500 range. It really seems to settle in and just, it works. Our Ram was probably about 2,000 RPM. That Cummins just like to be a little bit lower. Here's one of those corners that I can't go very fast around, so I have to scrub a lot of speed off. And then of course it's going to come out right into a big old hill. So give it a little downshift, just give it some throttle. Right now I'm pulling 38 miles per hour and the speed limit's a 40 through this section. So, well, there I'm at 40. Just able to maintain proper speed. My foot's, I'm not full throttle by any means, just enough to keep my RPMs right about 2,200 and just pulling really smooth. Not having to shift back and forth trying to find a gear, which is super nice. I would like to tow with one of the Fords with their new 10-speed to see how it compares. Our Ford only had the 6-speed, and sometimes it would struggle to find that right gear. With the 10-speed in this truck, it always feels like you can just find that gear that you are looking for. Not a lot of back shifting.
I can tell we are starting to get to kind of that tree line up here. My ears are starting to pop on me. Quakies have disappeared.
Yeah, I don't know for sure what elevation we're at right now. Probably about 8,000, I think. 8,000 feet. So 7,000 to 8,000, somewhere in that range, yes. I would say.
Well, I know when we get up here,
there'll be a sign. We'll pull over and look at it.
Yeah, there's a sign up, an elevation sign up here that gives you an idea of how high we have climbed. Coming from home, we're roughly 65?
55. 50? No. We're at home. We're about 5,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
5,000.
If you're a snowmobiler in Utah, you probably came up to this area. It's one of the best snowmobile areas in the state. As you get up here higher and you get up into these big grass openings, it's just great snowmobiling in the winter, if we actually have snow. Last year we didn't have great snow.
Just missed our elevation sign. I was, of course, gawking out the window. And we're kind of at this top tree line level here, and what I thought I saw was 9,450 something.
Yeah, we'll hop on and double check it on Google Maps.
Yeah, we'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure that's what the elevation sign said, which with kind of where the trees are and the lack of vegetation right now,
yeah,
it's understandable.
Yeah. So we're dropping down now, and the speed limit's 40, and the truck keeps on slowing down slower than it needs to go. So I keep on having to get a little bit of throttle. The transmission on this truck holds back so much better. It's an 8% grade right now as we come down, and it just is doing great. The exhaust brake makes a huge difference as well. You just tap the brake a little bit, the transmission brake engage, or the transmission engages, and the exhaust brake, and you can probably hear it. I don't know if you can hear that coming through on the microphone or not, but basically I can pull my foot off of the throttle and just, it's almost like being in cruise control. The speed limit's 40. Right now I'm at 39 miles per hour, just descending down off this, and the truck is holding itself right here without me touching the brakes. Just engage the exhaust brake there and you can just hear it slow down the truck. Working really nice. I don't know if it worked as well as the Ram. I think it still may have had a little bit better exhaust brake. I like how this transmission holds back better than the Rams did and the Fords. The Ford's exhaust brake, I don't know. I would say it didn't work quite as well. But I mean, it still held back really good. As we're dropping down out of this, you have these sharp corners where you have to scrub some speed, which is really nice. You just touch that brake and the exhaust brake kicks on and wipes that speed off without having to use your brakes too much. Works really well. Like right here. You can hear that kick on. The transmission temperature climbing up over that, the exterior, when we started the climb, it was about 77 degrees. Right now we're at 61 up here in the mountains. And the transmission temperature got up to 180. So it fluctuated by about 10 degrees. The engine temperature never moved, which I'm super happy with. Maybe I watch that stuff way too much, but it's so good to see those lower temperatures because the hotter temperatures go against longevity. We're just about down the canyon, out onto the flat here. Some of the things that I noticed, I didn't get any trailer push. I couldn't feel that trailer on those steep corners on the downhill pushing me at all, which was really nice, which is to be expected with a truck of this size pulling this weight. It makes me really happy that I got the 3500 for those situations. Another thing that stood out, a lot of times when you're coming downhill and you get out in those flats where you need to accelerate, sometimes the transmission and the exhaust brake don't want to let you shift into that higher gear. And I had very little of that this whole time. Basically, if I needed it, I gave a little throttle, it shifted down, then as soon as the next corner came up that I had to slow down for, I would just give it a little brake tap and it would do its thing. When it's all said and done, the new truck did really well. I'm really happy with it.
Very well, yes.
Yeah. It would be awesome if I could get a new Ram or a new Ford and do the exact same thing, but that's not really an option. So take it for what it's worth. We've really enjoyed the truck so far. It did great towing up over Wolf Creek here in Utah. Held the speed limits I wanted to. All that sort of stuff.
Came down really well.
Yeah, really. I mean that's more important than the climbing,
yeah,
really.
I mean, I was watching what posted speed limit was versus what you were going, and you were either 1 or 2 up, 1 or 2 down.
Yeah, it was right there, very controllable. That's the biggest thing, is you want your truck controllable when you're towing through these mountains like this. So comment down below maybe you have the same truck, what your experiences have been. If you have a newer Ford or a newer Ram or an older Ford or older Ram, comment how you like them. All those sort of things, or whatever it is that you tow with. Let me know. Maybe it's a Chevy Equinox and how it does towing in the hills. Whatever. As always, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. It really helps keep the channel going and lets us keep on providing content and motivating us to get out and do these things. So thanks for watching and enjoy your weekend.
We just missed our elevation sign, but what I did see, I was gawking out the window, sorry. What I did see, we're at 94,000 feet. 94,000? Holy shit. Yes, I knew it'd get... Not 94,000, hon. 94,000's in space. 9,400. Or did you say 7,400? No, I said 9. Okay, sorry, go ahead.